From the mountains to the sea, from the home to the office, in the warehouse, the hospital, the oil refinery, the church, the factory, the utility company. Be it by plane, train, ship, or on the highway, the complexities of modern-day living create millions of unseen fire hazards. When fire strikes, you must know how to extinguish that fire. Fire can be a friend, a worker, or a deadly enemy. Some fires can burn for many hours undetected, while others can spread rapidly in a matter of seconds. Some fires take little knowledge and skill to extinguish, while others require highly specialized knowledge and skill. The best protection against fire is fire prevention education and frequent inspections for the purpose of eliminating fire hazards. If these measures are inadequate and fire strikes, the best extinguisher is an automatic system. For incipient fires in ordinary combustibles, a sprinkler system is designed to control the fire and at the same time to sound a local alarm. Special hazards need special protection. Dip tanks, spray booths, grease ducts, and other similar devices may be equipped with CO2 or dry chemical systems which operate automatically and are designed to extinguish or control the fire until professional help can arrive. Every person, whether housewife, executive, or employee, should know how to use a box alarm. You should know the number of the local fire department or how to call the fire department. You should have a fundamental knowledge of fire behavior, and you should know how to use and on which type of fire to use each of the extinguishers available to you. To keep your home, your school, your place of employment or amusement from being destroyed, it is vital that the fire be detected early, that the fire department be called immediately, and that a portable fire extinguisher or hose be used as soon as possible. An extinguisher used improperly or use of the wrong one can be ineffective and even dangerous. The burning material may splash or float away, causing rapid spread of the fire. Some extinguishing agents will react violently with the burning material, causing the entire area to become involved, or may cause serious or fatal injury to the person using the extinguisher. But the right extinguisher, used properly while the fire is still small, can quickly put it out. When using any portable extinguisher, it's important to select the proper type and get it to the fire quickly. The method of removing the extinguisher from its hanger and carrying it to the fire is very important, too. Grasp the ring or handle at the top of the extinguisher with one hand, grasp the bottom with the other, then lift. When the extinguisher clears the bracket, pull it toward you and lower it. If the extinguisher is too heavy, when it's cleared the bracket, slide it down the wall. Then grasp the top of it and drag it to the fire. Be sure to carry the extinguisher in an upright position, or its contents may expel unnecessarily. Practice removing and carrying the extinguisher to be sure you know how in an emergency. There are 4 classifications of fire: A, B, C, and D. Learn the different materials involved in each classification and the proper extinguisher to use on each type of fire. Class A fires involve ordinary combustibles, such as wood, paper, clothes, fibers. The most satisfactory extinguishing agent for this type of fire is water. Water cools the burning material below its ignition temperature and the fire goes out. Water can be applied by use of needle, hose, a pump tank, or one of the other water-type extinguishers. The hose is the most versatile firefighting tool in this group. It provides an unlimited supply of water and quick maneuverability to any point around the fire. Good quality, permanently installed, large-diameter garden hose with an adjustable spray nozzle permanently affixed and with the hose coiled on a rack or hook provides excellent first-aid fire protection. When using the standpipe hose, be sure to pull all the hose free of the rack and stretch it out. This prevents a fold in the hose from pinching off your water supply. Aim the nozzle at the fire, hold the hose firmly with both hands, lean forward, then have someone turn on the water. Unlined linen hose allows water to seep through the outer jacket, so be prepared to get a little wet. It's of prime importance to know what type of extinguisher to use on a particular fire. Extinguishers can be identified by their labels and, in some cases, by certain physical characteristics. These are Class A extinguishers. Look at the labels. They'll tell you the type of extinguishing agent, water, soda acid, foam, and so forth. And they'll also tell you how to operate it. If a pump tank extinguisher is selected for use, remove it from wall bracket and carry it to the fire. Set the extinguisher down, secure stabilizer with one foot, remove the nozzle from its keeper, and direct it at the fire. With the other hand, clear the pump handle. On some tanks, the locking device must be pushed out of the way. Others are released by pushing the pump handle down and twisting it to unlock. An up and down motion of the pump handle will deliver water to the fire. The more vigorous the motion, the more water delivered. An inversion type extinguisher is one that's turned upside down to operate. Whether it is soda acid, cartridge, or foam, the method of putting it into operation is the same. Remove the extinguisher by grasping the top ring and nozzle with one hand and the bottom with the other. Lift it off the bracket and lower it to the ground, or push the extinguisher up to clear the bracket and slide it down the wall to the ground. Then carry or drag it to the fire. At the fire, grasp the handle on the bottom, invert the extinguisher and release the top ring, but not the nozzle. Then bump the extinguisher on the ground. If it doesn't start operating after bumping it once or twice, lay it on its side and get another one. If it does operate properly, direct the water or foam on the burning material. An alternate method may be used that doesn't require lifting. Lay it on its side. Take hold of the handle, then tilt the bottom of the extinguisher up and direct the nozzle at the fire. The pressurized water extinguisher is the simplest to use of all water extinguishers. Place one hand on the body of it, grasp the safety ring, and pull the pin. Take the valve release in one hand, the nozzle in the other, and direct it at the fire. Squeeze the handle to release the water. No matter which you choose, tails, hose, pump tank, soda acid, cartridge, pressurized, or foam extinguishers, the method of fighting the fire is the same. Remember that fire travels upward and follows the direction of any wind or air current. When possible, stand with the wind or air current at your back to fight the fire. If the fire is in a wall or other vertical area, start by applying the water at the bottom and work up, covering the entire area as you proceed. If the fire is in grass, rubbish, furniture, or other ordinary combustible materials, start with the area nearest you, cover the entire area thoroughly as you proceed, because hidden embers may smolder and reignite later when no one is around to put out the fire. A very important phase of fighting a fire in these materials occurs after there are no visible flames. A fireman calls it overhaul. This simply means to move the material around and pull it apart until all charred or burning material is exposed, and to wet it thoroughly to ensure that any deep-seated embers have been completely extinguished. Although foam extinguishers are approved for use on Class A fires and are used the same as some water extinguishers, the cleanup problem is magnified. Therefore, it's important at all times to use the most efficient extinguisher available. Class B fires are those involving flammable liquids, such as alcohol, thinner, naphtha, and gasoline. Fires in flammable liquids are usually very hot and dangerous, but they can be controlled by a built-in system or one of the many extinguishers available for Class B fires. Know each extinguisher, how to put it into operation, and what size fire it'll extinguish. All Class B extinguishers, except foam, also have a Class C rating. This means, as will be explained later, that they must be used on fires in electrical equipment. Read the label to find out what extinguishing agent it contains. Carbon dioxide, foam, dry chemical, and so forth, and the method of operation. When using foam, the entire surface of the burning liquid is covered with a blanket of tiny bubbles that smother the fire. The foam must float gently across the surface, or it'll sink and be ineffective. When a foam extinguisher is used on Class B fires, it's put into operation the same as when used on Class A fires. Remove the extinguisher from the bracket and carry it in an upright position to the fire. When you reach the fire, not before, invert the extinguisher. Then direct the flow of foam against the opposite side of the container. Move around so that you cover the entire surface. And don't leave any hidden spots. Use the entire contents of the extinguisher on the fire. Then stand by with another extinguisher in case the fire reignites. Carbon dioxide and Freon are heavy gases which extinguish fire by replacing the air or oxygen in the fire zone. Because these gases are invisible, the extinguisher must be kept in operation until the fire goes out and stays out. A small carbon dioxide extinguisher will put out a small fire involving flammable liquid. Hold the top of the extinguisher in one hand, pull the safety pin with the other, swivel the nozzle into position, squeeze the release valve, and move the nozzle slowly from side to side, enough to cover the entire surface. If the nozzle is moved too far or too fast, it'll disturb the CO2 already on the surface, allowing reignition. When the fire's out, release the valve, but stand by in case the fire reignites. With a 20-pound carbon dioxide extinguisher, it's possible to extinguish about 12 square feet of deep layer flammable liquid fire. To use this extinguisher, pull the safety pin, hold the insulated handle in one hand, the valve in the other. Protect yourself from radiated heat by holding the nozzle behind you with your back to the fire while looking under your arm. When the nozzle is even with the edge of the pan or fire, squeeze the valve and start moving the nozzle slowly to cover the entire surface. CO2 must be applied at close range to be effective. When the fire is out, stand by until you're sure it'll stay out. When using carbon dioxide on a flammable liquid spill, you must work fast. Be careful not to become involved in the fire, and where possible, work with the wind at your back. Know how to put the extinguisher into operation. Hold the nozzle near the ground at the leading edge of the fire. Move the nozzle from side to side, covering an area wider than the fire, allowing the gas to drift with the wind across the fire zone. If the entire fire cannot be covered from this position, move around to either side, but never into the area of the spill. If the fire is very large, it may require two men working together, each protecting the other. Dry chemical is more effective than carbon dioxide on flammable liquid fire. Although the powders may differ in their chemical composition, all dry chemical extinguishers are used in the same manner. 2.5 to 5 pound standard dry chemical extinguishers are very effective on small fires. A fire in a deep fat fryer, dip tank, or other container is a hot, fierce fire, but can be quickly controlled if the extinguisher is used properly. Aim at the closest edge of the fire and move the extinguisher so that the flow of powder just clears the rim. Sweep from side to side to exceed the width of the fire on both sides. If there are any obstructions, it may be necessary to move around a bit and attack the fire from another direction. When the fire's out, stand by until you're sure it's going to stay out. The larger the extinguisher, the more fire it'll put out. A 20-pound dry chemical will put out a fire of approximately 20 square feet. Aim the nozzle at the leading edge of the fire, squeeze the valve release, then change the direction of the flow of powder so that it just clears the rim of the container. Use a side sweeping motion to cover the entire surface. Move around to cover all areas. Be prepared to sweep the surface to eliminate any flashback. Flammable liquid spill fires can be controlled quickly with the proper extinguisher. A 20-pound potassium bicarbonate dry chemical extinguisher will handle a fire about twice as large as can be handled with a standard dry chemical extinguisher. Approach the fire with the wind at your back. If the wind is in your face, the powder will be pushed back without reaching the fire front. Attack all flammable liquid fires the same way. Point the nozzle at the area just in front of the fire, squeeze the handle, and then adjust the direction so that the powder completely covers the leading edge and rolls across the fire away from it. Using a side-to-side sweeping motion, be sure to exceed the outer limits of the fire on each side. Work from where the wind will help you the most, continually sweeping the fire as you move. Roll the powder across the fire zone and push the fire ahead of you as you sweep down the entire length. When the fire's out, always stand by for possible reignition. Dry chemical is also very effective on liquefied flammable gas fires, such as propane and butane. Fires involving these materials should never be extinguished, except to save lives or to facilitate immediate shutdown of the flow. When it is advisable to extinguish the fire, direct the discharge of dry chemical into the flow of liquid or gas. Let the pressure carry the dry chemical for you. Don't move the nozzle. Keep the extinguisher going until all flame is gone. The dry chemical will protect you from the heat and flames. Never shut down the extinguisher until you're clear of the area of fumes. If dry chemical can be applied directly into the flow, it'll take very little powder to extinguish the fire. If reignition occurs, continue to apply powder until the fire stays out. Dry chemical is also the most effective extinguishing agent for rapid knockdown of fires involving ordinary combustibles. This can be used to great advantage in effecting rescue or confining a fire until other extinguishing agents can be used. When using dry chemical in a structure, direct the discharge about 8 to 12 inches from and parallel to the floor. Let the thermal updraft move the powder around. Use intermittent discharges to conserve the powder and thus hold the fire for a longer period. When you see flame, direct the discharge to that area and then wait for other flames. Remember, where ordinary combustibles are involved, you'll have to follow up with water for deep-seated embers. Class C fires are those involving electrical equipment and machinery, such as in motors, appliances, switchboards, and transformers. These fires require the use of a non-conducting extinguishing agent. Water conducts electricity and can cause fatal injury. Remember, all Class B extinguishers, except foam, are effective on Class C fires and are non-conductive. A quick glance at the label will assure you of the contents and use. For fires in switchboards, computers, and similar equipment, carbon dioxide and Freon are effective, and their use does not require dismantling to clean away any residue. With small fires involving electricity, such as in a radio, all the firefighting that may be necessary is to pull the plug or throw a switch, thereby cutting off the source of energy. If smoking persists, apply a little water to smoldering parts. When a relay sticks, the wires overheat and the insulation may burst into flames. A carbon dioxide extinguisher should be used on this fire. Pull the pin, swivel the nozzle into place, squeeze the valve, and apply the carbon dioxide. Shut off the electricity if possible, and then check for any further indication of fire. For fires in other types of electrical equipment and any large fires involving electricity, dry chemical is quick and effective. When an electrical fire occurs in equipment containing flammable liquids, or in an area where these liquids are present, you have a flammable liquid fire involving electricity. Even a difficult fire like this can be handled with very little trouble if you have the right extinguisher. With dry chemical, attack this fire the same as if there were no electricity involved. Start with the leading edge and cover the entire ground fire, then above ground, and going back to the ground fire if it reignites. For fires in confined areas, the dry chemical will protect you from the heat and flame. Be sure to cover the entire fire and check for any hidden spots that might still be smoldering. Vaporizing liquid extinguishers, such as those containing carbon tetrachloride, present an extreme health hazard and may cause death or serious injury. Many governmental agencies have prohibited the use of vaporizing liquids for fire extinguishing. There is one extinguisher that is effective on all three classes of fire that we've discussed. This is the ABC extinguisher. For Class A fires, ordinary combustibles, use the ABC powder the same as you would water once the extinguisher is in operation. Start at the bottom or leading edge. Cover the entire area of burning material, moving around the fire, making sure to get powder on every surface as you would with water. Continue this process as many times as necessary. As soon as there are no visible flames, start overhauling and extinguish all fire as you go. For Class B and C fires, the ABC extinguisher is used in the same manner as any dry chemical extinguisher. And there's the added advantage that the coating effect of the powder has. It inhibits the reignition of any Class A materials in the area. Class D fires are those involving metal products, such as castings, chips, powder, or liquid metal. The extinguishing agents for use on this type fire are not approved for all metals, so it's essential that you have the right extinguisher before using it on the fire. Otherwise, results might be disastrous. Metal fire extinguishing agents can be applied with an applicator, such as scoop or shovel, or from an extinguisher. As before, the label contains the information you need to be certain you have the proper extinguisher and the proper operating instructions. If possible, when using powder from an extinguisher, get into a position where you're protected. Use the contents of the extinguisher effectively. Place the nozzle so the powder drifts gently onto the burning metal. With an extinguisher, there's the added advantage of being able to apply the powder from a distance to areas that couldn't be reached by hand. When the fire is out, be sure to dispose of the metal properly. When applied with an applicator, extinguishing agents are taken directly from their containers and the powder is applied gently on the metal by shaking the applicator. Don't throw or drop the powder because the burning metal will splash and spread the fire. Continue applying the powder in this manner until all of the burning metal is covered. Watch for a while, and if the fire burns through the coating, apply more powder. When the metal is cool enough to handle, pick it up with a shovel and dispose of it properly. Remember, when you discover a fire, call the fire department. You should know how. Then fight the fire with what you have available. Be sure you know what's burning, what type of extinguishing agent to use, and how to use it. On Class A fires, use water or an ABC extinguisher. And remember to overhaul. On Class B fires, use dry chemical, foam, carbon dioxide, or Freon, and stand by in case of reflash. On Class C fires, use carbon dioxide, Freon, or dry chemical. Turn off electricity as soon as possible. On Class D fires, use the special agent provided for that metal and then dispose of all residue. The training you have received in this film about extinguishers and firefighting represents only a very small portion of the training of a professional fireman. You must call the fire department immediately, then do what you can. But have the professionals on the way. Call them every time, even if there's only a suspicion of fire. Because the life and property you save may be your own, or that of a loved one.